Hello, my name is Limbo, and I'm here to show you the basics of arranging a song with Fortnite music blocks. To be as efficient as possible with my method, a simple understanding of music is recommended but not required. I'll try my best not to use technical language if not necessary. However, first I want to talk about the last update. It added a music sequencer which makes actually performing your music way easier. There are a few things that I initially struggled with, but I found a few neat tricks that I'm going to share with you. Firstly, the music sequencer lets you add a lot more instruments, so say you wanted to simulate an orchestra, you could. Not that the blocks really support that at the moment. What might be overlooked though, is that the sequencers can be chained together. This eliminates the need to turn corners, like in my Bohemian Rhapsody vid, and makes it way easier to do longer songs. I'm not sure whether I like the fact that you don't have to actually trigger the notes yourself. Walking through them was kind of a fun interaction. You can also do some cool stuff with the sequencer, like reverse audio. If you didn't already know, there's a neat Easter egg in the Zelda game's music. Goddess's Ballad, the theme for Skyward Sword, is Zelda's lullaby in reverse. So that might be something that one of you wants to create with the bounce mechanic. Another cool thing you can do is chain the sequencers like this and create a delay. This might be used for something like a canon in music. It requires some timing though, which I haven't really mastered yet. Now that I've rambled enough, let's talk about actually arranging songs with the blocks. The absolute first thing you need is a place to put the blocks. In many videos you might have seen tunnels and whatnot, but with the sequencer, I think flat surfaces are the best. In the background you can see a surface I made just by copying blocks. Second, whether your song is long or short, you need to add time. This is harder than you might expect, and many videos I've seen don't really have a handle on timing at all. What you can do is add note blocks like this and create what's called a metronome, a timekeeper. This way you don't have to guess where to put the blocks. I suggest using either 8 or 4 grid snap, but if you plan on doing something very fast, then 16 is also an option. So here we have our metronome, but as you can probably see, our flat surface is already working as a metronome since all of the tiles are exactly the same size. So we can use grid snap to our advantage and just count the amount of notes we want to put inside one tile. In my case, it's 2 here, and all of these represent notes that are of equal length. Shorter notes should be closer together and longer notes further apart. Fortnite blocks don't really have a lot of sustain though, so any longer notes are tough cookie. Note that this method works best on songs with 4 beats repeating. Once you've added time and decided on a song, it's time to put down some note blocks. I won't really touch on which sounds are the best sounding since that's very subjective. I will say that the piano tiles are my favorite though. Now here's the problem. What blocks do I want to put down, especially if I had no musical experience whatsoever? Luckily, here's where the internet can really aid you. There are multiple sites on the internet where you can find your favorite pieces of music written down as letters. Just search for letter notes or something similar and correlate the letters with the letters on the blocks. Some places even tell you how many blocks of silence there has to be in between the notes. I'd advise you to try and do it by ear though, since it's way more educating. If you're a bit more experienced musically, you might want to find piano roll songs on YouTube and copy them, or even try to do the whole thing by ear. P.S. You don't have to worry about tempo. Just Google your song tempo and it will show up. Ta-da! If you don't find your favorite song written down as letters, I have good news and bad news for you. Chances are that your favorite song is out there written down, but it's in sheet music form, meaning you're gonna have to decipher some notation to put it into music blocks. This isn't really that hard though. Every line and every space between lines represents a note. Up to the task? Find images like these on the internet that show you which line is which note. Some notes are sharp, which is marked both in the notation and Fortnite with a hashtag. If you have a jumble of hashtags near the beginning of a song, either figure out which notes are hashtagged and which are not, or choose an easier song or easier version of your song. I won't go into the little bees that you might find in the notation, but you should know that they're basically the same thing as hashtags, but the opposite. Okay, so you now know which blocks to pick and how far apart to put them from each other. This should give you the freedom to arrange simple songs on Fortnite. If you feel like it, you can check out my other videos or click all of the buttons and bells and yada yada yada. Thanks and see ya.